Hello, everybody. I'm Gerri Willis. The Republican National Convention in full swing tonight, and the national debt front and center as it ticks closer to striking that all-important $16 trillion. With more on this, Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah from the convention floor. Senator Lee, great to see you. I want to start with that moment that occurred only a few minutes ago when New Jersey put Romney over the top in delegate count. Let's take a look.
New Jersey, 50. Romney.
So, Senator, it wasn't that long ago that people thought Romney was too moderate to appeal to all parts of the Republican Party, but now he is the contender for the GOP. What's your reaction?
Well, this is an historic moment. This is a fantastic candidate, and Governor Romney and Congressman Paul Ryan are going to make an outstanding team to unseat President Barack Obama. This is part of a movement that is sweeping through America. People are getting behind this team, and they're ready to make a change in the White House.
Well, you know, Mike, one of the big issues that the Republican Party has really defined for itself is the federal debt. And you, of course, have been front and center on that issue. You've been outspoken saying we should spend no more than the federal government takes in. Is this the right issue? Will this appeal to all Americans?
Absolutely. I think it will continue to appeal to Americans, especially Americans who are younger, Americans who are understanding the fact that much of this debt was acquired before some of today's voters were even born, or before some of them were old enough to vote. Americans understanding that our accumulation of debt and our debt to GDP ratio, which is out of control, is killing job growth and economic development. Americans aren't putting up with this anymore, and that's one of the reasons why Mitt Romney's candidacy is going to be so appealing.
Well, I got to tell you, our debt is more than 100% of GDP right now. We're spending something like $4 billion every single day, $2 million a minute. And those numbers, just shocking. The party's put up a national debt clock right on the floor of the convention hall so that people can see these numbers. We'll see it when it trickles over to $16 trillion. President Obama has increased national debt by $5 trillion during his tenure. How can you actually bring this home to Americans? Because, look, the debt's not something they pay every single day, and if they do, they don't see it coming out of their checking account.
Yeah, one of the ways that we help people understand how this affects them individually and what it means to them individually is you can divide the national debt of about $16 trillion by about 300 million Americans. You come out with somewhere in the neighborhood of $50,000 a person. If you break it down according to taxpayer, depending on how you calculate it, may end up at or above $150,000 per taxpayer. Any way you slice it, Americans have the ability to understand that this is not sustainable. It is hurting our economy. It is hurting job growth, and we can't allow it to continue. Now, Mitt Romney has a plan to get us out of it. Mitt Romney wants to propose a budget. The current president has failed to get a budget passed, and that's one of the many reasons why Romney's candidacy is going to be so successful.
Well, Senator, we normally talk about health care, and I'm going to bring up Medicare tonight. Medicare, a critical issue on your convention floor for Americans generally. And among voters in a recent poll, 49% said the president, Barack Obama, is better able to handle Medicare. And Romney coming in second there. Do you think you can make the case that we need to fundamentally reform these entitlement programs?
Absolutely, because Americans are starting to understand a very simple but important principle, which is the fact that our current entitlement state simply is not sustainable. Our current spending practices are going to destroy the very same programs that we're talking about here. It's President Obama who has jeopardized Medicare. It's President Romney who can make that program sustainable. And Americans are going to get behind this. They're going to support him. He's going to win.
Well, respectfully, Senator, this is a tough argument to make. It's an argument that we have to pare back benefits to save the program. A lot of people are scared of that. How do you make that case on the street with regular Americans?
Because of the fact that at current spending rates, we will be spending about $1 trillion a year just in interest in our national debt by the end of this decade. Some economists say it could be sooner. By the time we're spending that much each year just in interest in our national debt, there will be no more money to make available for these expanding entitlement programs. I mean, that's more, $1 trillion a year. That's more, Jerry, than we're spending on Medicare and Medicaid combined. It's more than we're spending on Social Security in an entire year. It's more than we spend on defense in an entire year. So these very same programs are placed in jeopardy if in fact we continue to borrow at current rates.
Well, the very thoughtful Senator Mike Lee, thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate your time.